So there's a lot of discussion about really how is AI going to impact not only the world, but how is it going to impact the music side of things? And I think it is going to have a massive impact on music creation. I think in some ways it's going to be fantastic, in other ways not so good. I think there's plenty of great tools out there already, and I think they're just going to get better. And some of them I don't have a problem with, but some of them I'm concerned about as we go forward into all of this. And I'm concerned about what it's going to do to music. So I'm going to share some opinions that I have with that. And remember, this is just one guy's opinion here. Who's to say I know it all? I never presume to know it all. So if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. We can be adults and respectfully agree to disagree. But I'll be curious to hear what you have to say about this after watching this video when I post it in the comments section down below. So don't forget to do that. So I think let's talk about what I think the strategy is going to be. I think the strategy is going to be to make your life easier, to really come up with some cool, smaller things, to really kind of get you hooked on it to where it becomes normal, where they normalize it, basically. I think you're going to see a lot of that. And I think that's going to be intentional. I don't think they're going to go full board right away because they risk the fact of people totally being turned off on it because of the fears that they legitimately should have as far as what it's going to do to the economy and jobs and things like that all over the world. And we're all going to be impacted by it, every one of us. I'm kind of thankful right now, I'm my age right now, so I don't have to deal with all of those complications. But for those younger guys out there, I think you've got some change, and you better be willing to change and adapt and adopt new ways of looking at things and new skills and new opportunities, no matter what it is you do, because the world is going to change rapidly. So first I want to talk about what are some of the things that it's going to do for you that you're going to like, that quite frankly, I like. You know, I'm not a great singer. I can struggle to stay in tune or in key or whatever when I'm singing, but I don't have any kind of a unique voice. And there's already some AI options out there where you can just basically upload your lyrics to the songs and it will sing it for you. And you can choose different singers and different styles and all kinds of things like that. So you can see where you could possibly take that song that you've written. For a lot of people, trying to get what's in their head out so it can get in their ears when they listen back is harder than most people think. So when you've got some tools like this, you have the ability to do it. And so I think in some ways there's going to be a lot of that. There's also going to be a ton of AI-based plugins and things like that that are going to basically do a mix for you. It's going to EQ everything, compress everything for you, do the entire thing for you, where basically you're just sitting back and letting it do its thing. And all of a sudden now you've got an MP3 exported out that you can upload to wherever. And I think we're going to start seeing that. That I don't think is a good thing. I definitely see a lot of people who are not willing. Let's face it, the younger generation, many of them are just flat out lazy and they want the easiest way to get to anything, and they could care less about learning what it takes and the things that you need to do to be able to achieve that end result that you're desiring. So they'll just take the shortcut to get there. And I think you're going to see a ton of people doing that. And I think that is unfortunate. I think it's really unfortunate because those of us who actually know how to do this stuff, we can make changes along the way and do different things and apply different things to even take it in a direction maybe it's never been taken before. So that's another thing I think you're going to see happen. I think every song is going to start to sound the same. I think that's one of the things. Everything is going to start to sound the same. And that is not a good thing. I think companies like Apple and Google, they're going to become the new record industry going forward. They are going to be the ones who are really going to push this because they don't have to pay the songwriters anything. They don't really have to pay for anything. They just benefit from the sales, or better yet, the subscriptions to their music, right? And I think you're going to see tons of that. So I think the problem is so many people are going to adopt that it's going to force it on those who don't want to, and it's going to make it harder and harder and harder for real musicians to be able to write real songs and be able to get them heard. It's already very difficult to do that today. You really have to have some type of social media, platform, which is popular to get your music out there. But the days of being signed, playing in a bar somewhere and developing a great following, I think those have quickly dwindled down to almost non-existent in most places, in most situations. Not all, but many. Let me just say that, far too many. So I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it, and there's going to be some great tools that you can use that will be helpful, that are not really doing anything to your music that you don't want done. It's just giving you other options, kind of like partnering with another songwriter or something to be able to really kind of help take that song over the finish line and get it to where it needs to be. Or, in most situations, a producer, so many people misunderstand what a producer actually does, because that term gets thrown around today in a way that it was never applied in the past. But a producer's role is to basically help guide that band and guide that music. Very few of them even know the technical aspects of things. They just know what they want, and they know how to tell the engineer to get there, or the mix engineer to get there. And so I think where you're going to see that change is you're going to see a lot of AI playing music producer in some sense. That could be viewed as a good thing or a bad thing, because if you get signed to a record recording contract, as an example, the songs that you go in there with are not going to come out anywhere near the way they came in. You're going to have a producer who's going to help develop that song, help rearrange it, help get the best out of it, get the best players on it, or push you and your bandmates to be able to give the very best performance that you can. When you look at a lot of these things, I think you're going to see that AI is going to be a helpful tool in the beginning, but at the end, it's going to end up not being such a great thing. Now, here's where it is, right? Do I believe that AI will start writing music, creating it? There won't be a single person playing on it, not a single live human being involved in it. They'll create it from scratch, and the general public, who simply doesn't know, and many of them simply just don't care, will navigate to it, because it will be pushed in every algorithm under the planet to where that's what you think everybody else is listening to. So therefore, you want to be cool like everybody else and listen to the latest thing. I think we're going to see a ton of that. What I think it's not going to be able to do. I was watching a video the other day of somebody trying to do a Stevie Ray Vaughan riff, right? Everybody today should know who Stevie Ray Vaughan was and what a phenomenal guitar player he was. And I'll be honest with you, I'm sure they're out there, but I've never yet, to this day, have never heard a single player who could, in a blind test to my ears, sound like Jimmy. They may hit the notes, but they don't sound like him. Not even close. That's just my opinion. You may disagree, which is fine, but that's my opinion. When you get to doing things like this for a very long time, you really start to hear nuances in things, little itty bitty things that the average person may not hear or even care about. Well, I can hear them, and I can tell the difference. And there's only one difference. There's only one difference. AI could never replace the human soul. AI can never replace the human soul. And the greatest music ever written, in my opinion, at least in the modern rock era or modern popular music area, where you were not moved by soulfulness of the song, the soulfulness of the player. It moves some emotions inside of you that only a creative person can give to you. AI can create generic stuff. It can create melodies. It will do all of those things. But it can never, ever, ever have a soul, which is why you put 5 guitar players into a room and you give them the same chords and say, create something with these chords. Now, you can do various variations of those chords, but it has to stay within this chord structure. And you know what you're going to get? You're going to get 5 very, very, very different pieces of music, even though they're the same chord. 5 very different pieces of music. AI is not going to be able to do that. My prediction is within the next 2 years, you're going to see AI dominate a lot of the music charts and what kids are listening to. I think you're going to see that. But within 5 years, I think people are going to tire of it. They're going to tire of it. And then when they get the opportunity to hear and experience a live band playing amazing, amazing music that's full of soul, however, it moves you, it moves something inside of you. It's like a magnet. It just draws you to it. I think you're going to say, forget that AI garbage. In the same way, I think when I started seeing some of these videos on Instagram, that's where I see them the most. And they're funny and they're really cool at first. And I get amazed at how amazing how visual it is and every little detail. And, I think I saw one where this little baby, like like an infant, barely be able to stand, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years old, something like that, getting into a fight with a kangaroo or a donkey or something like that. And the kid is just whipping the butt out of that animal, just tearing it up. And it's fun to watch. And visually, it's very stimulating. It's amazing. They're going to be able to create actors who are not real human beings. And they're going to do cool stuff to it. But it's kind of like when CGI came on. Everybody was amazed when Avatar came out because we'd never seen anything to that degree before. It was absolutely stunning. I can't stand watching CGI movies today. I can't stand it. I want to see real people act. I want to see a real scene. I don't want to see CGI. That's just me. You may still love it, but that's me. I want something real. I don't want fake. One of my favorite movies of all time is Tinker Tailor Soldier Boy. I love that movie. It's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But those are real actors that get to you, that get under your skin, that make you want to just navigate and like a magnet pulling you to it to really see what's going on. In and around incredible storytelling, very complex storylines. I think we're never going to lose that human factor. Why? Because we're human. God gave us a soul, and an AI can never have one. So I'm going to be stingy with my soul because I appreciate the fact that God gave it to me, as you should be too. Whether you believe or not, that's up to you, but I'm telling you, I do. And so I don't think it's ever going to replace it. Not for 1 second. Just my thoughts, my opinion, and now you can get to know what I think about it today. So do me a favor, leave me some comments down below. Tell me what you think. And until next time, hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.